you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all and that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha. With me today we have my partner, Fakir Abdul-Aziz, the messenger prophet, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem, and off to the side we have Holy Mother Rabbi Saleem. May Jesus peace and other blessings by everyone's presence. Those in the studio audience and those who watch this program, may the Lord's peace and other blessings by everyone's presence that are in attendance. We want to thank everybody for being here this evening. And one thing we want to discuss this evening on this program, we talked about previous shows before concerning judgments.
Yeah, I want to revisit that.
We're going to revisit that topic in this conversation, and that how many times people, from your individual self on out into the world, we make assessments, judgments on different thoughts, on different situations that happen, conditions that affect us as people in everyday life. But one thing the Lord has sent down in His words is that do not judge. He said, look at the things, investigate. But when that investigation, many times we make conclusion, come into awareness of things, and then we put our own spin or our own how we see things of that nature. So with that being said, Holy Apostle, Holy Queen, brother, those that are on the audience, if you have questions or comments,
Let me just start out.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm the one who wanted to revisit it.
Mm-hmm.
So a reason I wanted to revisit it because we had a brother here last week who asked a question about judgment.
Right.
And I gave an answer that I didn't think was sufficient enough. I always believed in answering a question in a manner that everybody can understand what I'm saying. It's not good to leave people, like aloof, not really knowing, because then I would say that's an offense on my part against somebody, some other person, even unknowingly. I had made the statement, like we said, the Allah said for us not to judge, but those things need to be more deeply explained. In truth, Allah did not tell us to not judge. It said leave judgment to it. It's better that you let it be the judge for you.
Right.
It's just like when someone makes war against you, and Allah said, you can retaliate, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and so forth and so on. But it's best to leave that retaliation with it. We can't exclude that, because the wisdom comes in it doing things for us,
right,
protecting us, making us safe, and guiding us, and securing our interests in life, or the best interests in life for us, and that sometimes means us being guided away from our interests in life because of our bad judgments, But to make things more simple, the Lord said in the Holy Quran that I sent down the great Quran on the 7 often repeated verses,
right,
meaning the opening, okay? And it also said I sent down the book and the balance.
There's a balance, right.
And it also said that this Quran is the criterion,
Right.
the balancing, the judgment, the rule, the scale,
Right.
for you to weigh what's between what's right and what's wrong. That's making a judgment.
Right.
So Ahezaah, in the name of Allah, sent down through Muhammad a book of judgment. See, we never think in terms of calling the glorious Quran, the holy Quran, the noble Quran, or whatever people want to call it, the book of judgment, because it is a book of judgment.
Right.
Its wisdom, its guidance, is its judgments.
Oh, okay.
You must judge to guide. You must judge where you're going. You must judge what you're doing.
Right.
You must judge the effects of things happening.
Right.
if you're going to be a guide, because that's a part of you being a guide. You must judge. But now Allah sitting down the covenant,
Right.
the contract that it gives us as human beings, that we will agree to let it guide us in our life. And it has set down all the judgments we need. And it said this book is perfect.
Right.
And there's no doubt for those who believe. You see? Now, we have taken people who have falsely judged Allah itself. And they have had the audacity to put things in the Quran that don't belong there.
Yeah.
Like what men have done with the Bible. I've often had conversations with people, Christians and what have you, and I had one with one of my sisters this week. And they don't understand that they've never read the Bible.
Okay.
They don't understand that they're reading translations of the Bible from other men who put their inferences and what have you inside the book to make things mean what they want them to mean. And then they, when they have their sermons, they cut and paste, take it from, one prophet to another, putting the sentence together, to say something.
Right.
And, Allah sent down the Holy Quran as a scale for us, for not just Christianity, but Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Judaism, all the isms that came before, as well as the Antichristism. And it also judges what the Muslims have done to Islam and created Hadithism. Now, Moses never sent down Christianity. The Jews, the Hebrews lost the Torah. Right. They said there was over 600 some odd commandments, and they only got 10.
Right.
Huh? And then this man come and try to remember what was written, and he writes. Now it's a man's writing.
It's a man's writing. It's right. Ezra.
Right? Ezra.
Right.
And then they turn around, and Jesus believed in the way of Moses and Abraham.
He did. Right.
The same thing with Muhammad believed. And then you got people say, oh, I read the Quran and they stole from the Bible.
People,
how wrong do they judge?
The judgment, right.
First of all, how you going to steal something from the author?
Right.
If I write a book, and then I write a second book, you favor this book, you favor that book. Huh? And in one book, I call myself El, and in the other book, I call myself Allah. And because you don't want to accept that I'm the same person, you of the latter book come and say, look what you stole from this book.
Right.
Or the previous book, I should say. Say, look what you stole from this. How you going to steal from yourself? If the Lord sent down all the holy scriptures, how can any one religion steal from the other? How can any messenger from that same being steal from the other books? You can't do it.
Yeah.
He's just another delivery man.
Right.
A messenger is a delivery man, just like a post office mail deliverer. The books of the Holy Covenants, that's mail. That's mail from heaven. It's mail.
Yeah.
And we deliver that mail. Now, it's not our mail. It's our Lord's mail. We can't claim the mail and take authority of that mail. That's why when Allah Ahezaah give me things that I put down in writing, I put down that denial. This is not from me, it's through me. This is from my Lord. Now, you have people who will judge me astray and say it can't be from your Lord because man can't talk to the Lord.
Right.
Oh, the Lord don't relate to man no more. That's their problem. A wrongful judgment.
Right.
Judgment in error. You see? So, with that said, I would just like for us to, for the people who listened to the answers that I gave last week, when I had made the statement about your conscience, using your conscience and things of that nature to follow the judgments because every man is commanded to make a judgment. You have to judge in every avenue that you go in. That's only the right thing to do. You understand? An idiot makes no judgments.
Right.
So you got to make some judgments.
Right.
But the judgment that you should make is to let the Lord rule your life.
Right.
Ask it to rule your life in all areas and be the judge for you. You see?
But Apostle, correct me if I'm wrong. When the words given attributed to Jesus, I believe he says, "Judge not, lest ye yourself be judged." Might that mean be judge not unless you consider yourself, you judging yourself by that as well? In other words, consider yourself.
No. See, like I said, the language of our language is a devilish language.
Right.
It's always something omitted or added into what we're saying. You see, because if you look closely at this word of judgment, it's taking on different avenues.
Right.
Jesus said, "Judge not, lest ye stand to be judged yourself," right?
Right.
But what he is saying is, be mindful of the judgments you make.
Right.
Because if you point the finger at me,
Right.
be ready to have accept having that finger pointed at you.
Right.
Jesus said, "He who is without sin cast the first stone." He was saying the same thing.
Right.
That was the same thing.
Right.
Why judge a person if you're not right? In other words, don't bring down no execution of judgment
Right. Okay.
if you're not right. How can I execute you for like stealing, and I'm sitting up on the godly platform in the courthouse, sending you to jail, and I'm a thief?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and the messengers of the Lord bringing the Lord's message saying, don't do that. To thy own self be true. Don't do that.
It's something how Ahezaah called you to say, with that clarification, explanation that Allah just sent down through you, people hearing that, and it opens so many other avenues and worlds up within oneself, and hearing that, because going through the scriptures, through the Bible, and seeing those sayings that attributed to Jesus, like Brother Fakir was saying, and not giving a greater understanding, because the omission, and they translate the words, many words are being left out.
Yes.
That can help further on that train of thought or that line of thought.
Yes.
And when Jesus said, when they get concerned in the condition with Mary, they tried to put it on fornication. When he said he went without casting the first stone, nobody cast the stone. They all walked away because they looked within themselves. Said, I've done something. But nobody many times on the pulpit ever give the other side of that coin so people can say, wait a minute, let me look at myself before I ever look out in anybody else's life. But we talked about this previously before the show coming on, how in society today, when they're taking down many of the African-American stars, making them judgments on them, but then they don't even take that mirror and then turn on their counterpart, the Caucasians in their own cities, and do the same thing equally.
Same Caucasians supposed to subject to the same temptations.
Yeah,
that there's by the same world.
Yeah, and they had these secret organizations, and they they got hotels, they got prostitutes, and they doing all kind of stuff. But the thing about it is that there was something I brought to you many years ago. That Ahezaah gave to me. It says Jesus said that, and Jesus himself did not cast a stone.
He didn't, right?
Right.
He sure didn't, right?
And what we have to realize is that when you read Allah's word, first of all, you have to take them personal, but you have to be very, very careful, because a lot of times we try to use it as an escape.
Yeah.
We try to use it to benefit us in our wrongdoings. We say, no, I ain't going to cast the first stone. or I'm not going to snitch or anything like that because I do these things too. You know, you have to be very careful that what you're putting into yourself is righteousness.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if not, then you're going to fall into another trap that's set by the devil.
Yeah, that's why I said it comes with so much explanation, variations, like what you're talking about. Even though you do wrong, you need to try to help your fellow man,
right,
by giving them good advice, righteous advice, if you have it.
Right.
Regardless to what you're doing.
Right.
I remember when I was a youngster running wild in the streets, doing all the wrong things, going against my parents' words and what have you. But I spent most of my time telling all my associates of my peers, don't do this. I'm stupid. I'm a fool. Don't do this. They said, but you having fun. You know I'm not. I mean, I'm having fun in the moment, but you don't know what I'm doing to myself. This ain't right. This ain't cool, man. This will get you locked up. This will get you this. This will get you that. You know? But me and my foolish brain, I didn't know I was protected by Allah. I just thought I was lucky. And I just thought I was so smart that I could always find a way to get away.
Right. And see,
so I took Allah for granted.
Right. But the beauty of that was, and see, that's what people fail to realize. When you go and speak to someone about things they're doing that you know that's going to eventually be harmful to them, if you're of the right mind, even though you may be wrong, like, you know, I had an experience with a junkie, a person that was actually always shooting up. And I mean, he shot up and I saw him shoot up all the time. And I was out there playing wild and stuff like that. And he pulled me and he said, come here, let me talk to you. And I could have just disregarded him, oh, junkie, oh, this, that, and the other. But he spoke from his heart of his experience, and his care and his love and concern was real. Even though he couldn't get himself together, he was pouring truth to me, and with his prayers that I would not follow in those footsteps. You understand what I'm saying?
That's basically what I was doing.
And that's what you was doing. That's why Ahezaah protected you. Because, see, you could be wrong and do right.
Yeah.
You know, understand what I'm saying? Because we all have a road that we have to travel on. But you just have to be very careful how you use it. You got to make sure that when you use the words of Ahezaah, it's not to benefit yourself.
Right.
Because
you
that's
can't be doing it looking for rewards.
Right. And that because that's the evil intent. You know, when I get down on people, I always try to make sure that I'm not going to cause them to resent what I'm saying. But sometimes people are going to resent it because they don't want to hear the truth or not. But you got to be real careful with that. That judgment thing is you have to be real careful.
But the flip side of that and what you're talking about and what you did, you know, I basically did some of the same things when other people of a lowly, what I consider of a lowly nature and mentality and what have you came and spoke to me. Because Ahezaah blessed me with a heart and a mind to always be ready to take in. I was open to hear wisdom. You know, you judged aright. You see, you judge yourself to listen to something that was of the good. When most people would say, man, how you going to say something to me and he doing all this stuff? He can't tell me nothing. But a beautiful thing that Allah gave me and Ahezaah gave me in the name of Allah earlier, said, even if the devil come and speak to you, sitting up with horns and the pitchfork tail and tell you right, that's right. That don't change what's right. Allah said to me, Ahezaah said to me, I can deliver you out of hell. If you in hell, I can come down in there and get you and deliver you out of hell. You know? So, you know, we have to be very mindful. And you know that you could be in heaven and it could put you in hell.
But
that's no set.
Let me just go on what Fat Kid was saying about the athletes and everything. You know, I had a very disturbing week. But one of the things is that when Ahezaah don't miss nothing. you know, we tend to have a tendency to let things fly past. But Ahezaah don't miss nothing. The whole thing is African American people want something that they will never have with these Caucasian people.
Never have equality.
You never have that. Your slave master done passed that on through their lineage, just like we done passed things through our lineage. But Ahezaah knows all. Ahezaah said, be of those who believe as you believe. Be of those. You can't tell me that you going to a Caucasian and they believe as you believe.
Well, let me say this here before you go further. Ahezaah was talking in the name of Allah. It was talking to sincere believers.
Right.
Because, you know, when we think about it, and we put that on people who are not sincere believers, like I said to you a lot of times, you come to me and you say, Allah says, believe and be with those who believe as you believe. How could this person be with them, that, and the other? I said, they must believe the same.
Right.
Because Allah said, if you commit adultery and get divorced, you can only marry an adulteress. Somebody like yourself.
Right.
You understand? And so, you know, I mean, that has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
It was speaking to the believers. It said the Holy Quran was sent down for those who believe.
Right.
The sincere believers. And if you don't truly believe, that Quran ain't going to help you.
Right.
You have to believe and have faith. You have to have that blind faith first.
Right.
First. For that Quran to help you.
Yeah.
For it to be right for you, for it to be open to you. You know.
But Allah, it doesn't miss anything.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It puts everything in order, and we go about our business to take it out of the order. Then we up in despair.
Yeah.
Father, that addresses strikes that we're under the command in part and whole with learning how to judge or properly judging and assessing correctly is getting in order. Our striving to be in order, to be of the covenant as the Lord commands us. He commands to do. Proper judgment falls in place.
One thing I'll say in regards to that is that we are so unfair to ourselves. We're so unfair to ourselves because we make it appear as though we got so many things to do to get in order. So many things to do to get in order. When the Lord tell us, all you got to do is ask it with sincerity from your heart. That's all you got to do. And it will do for you. But see, we're so unfair because we want to say, oh, Allah, I bear witness to you. I believe this, that, and the other. Taking Shahada in your prayers every day. Or when you go to church or the synagogue, to your witness bearing all the time. And at the same time, telling the Lord, get behind me, O ye, and let me guide myself. Huh? And look at the language that the preachers preach. When you need the Lord, what you mean when you need the Lord?
When you don't need
When you need the Lord, it's there for you. You know?
No.
Like the Lord sitting like in the bank, I can pull from that treasure when I need it at any moment.
It's like putting the Lord behind you.
Right.
You know, when the truth of the matter is, it makes it so simple. Satan is the one that give you all. You can't even count the avenues it gives you to go in life, and the Lord give you one, so that there be no confusion. And then it's so merciful, it don't leave you on that road. You leave yourself out there. The laws and orders of the holy, the divine laws, are not going to change just for you. Right. If you get out of order, it don't matter who you are. You will be judged astray from the core of your soul. And it will come down in execution on you by the hardships that you receive in life. Those who are most sincere, they can walk down the street and kick the curb, man, and they stop and say, oh, Lord, what did I do? Why you let that happen to me? Why you do that to me? Because they know something is out of order because they didn't hurt themselves. Under the Lord's protection and guidance, you will never hurt yourself. But when you go astray, that's when you hurt yourself. But people don't give the Lord what's due to the Lord. And that is we living in the essence of the Lord. There's no space that's empty of its essence. And we're living it like fish in water. We're in its essence. I like to use it to say in the atmosphere, but even the atmosphere is in its essence. Because there's some places void of atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
We're in its essence. And in the mind of its essence. People don't see our men, the man, the breath of mind, the supreme being, our men, as being mental.
Right.
And that creation is forms of its thoughts. It reflecting itself in everything. But we want to see ourselves as human beings. We want to see ourselves, we judge ourselves as the cream of creation. Not realizing that there's always going to be something above you.
And judging there that we can escape that mental thing that we're captured by, surrounded by.
You know, I'm thinking about what the message is saying and how just this past week alone, in a situation, they had a tragic that happened down in SeaWorld, and one was killed by the killer whale, snatched off the platform, pulled in the water, and they assessed the animal, you know, it was just in its nature. But this same particular animal, they knew 2 other times had did the same type of
I heard
thing. He been doing this like his third
but
time.
how many times they gonna try
and deal with? That's what I'm looking right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like the lady who got her head knocked off by the bear. And they was laughing. I said, don't laugh. You can't laugh like that, you know. But it's so comical, man. Man's idiocy is so comical. You know, you turn to the History Channels or the Action Channels, and you see them people out in nature. They climbing up on the highest mountain and fall down, and then everybody want to mourn them. Why you mourning them? What made them go up there on that to try the Lord?
Right.
Try it, right?
You know, you ain't supposed to mourn them.
Right.
You supposed to sit back and say, boy, I guess he got what he wanted. He wanted, you know, I mean, it's only 2 ways down.
Right. That's
Right.
That's right.
And you trying that.
Right. The thing is that, and it's sad, but it's real.
Okay.
The lack of respect that
Right.
we have for Ahezaah is evident, but nobody wants to look at it. Everybody wants to cover it up.
And act as though they the cream of creation. That they had.
What right do you have to go and capture and kill a whale? What right do we have to do all these different things that bring about pleasure? That's why I always go back to that bros conversation. And people look at me like I'm crazy when this man told me he would not kill a rose to put a smile on my face. Like, what? You know, people was getting roses at work. And people was getting roses at work like it was no tomorrow. And I was like, yo,
let them know you was very young when that happened. Right?
I was young.
I was very young and inexperienced, and she was going to work, and people was getting boxes of candy and roses all the time. And she came home to me and asked me one day, do you love me? She got caught up into what was going on in the office.
And that simple little conversation gave me so much to look at, you know.
Wrap it up. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna hold this conversation for the second part of this. To our new quarter, thanks for tuning in. Continue to watch. May the Lord continue to bless you. Have a good evening.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?